Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Post here, and we're back with yet another Wi-Fi battle. Like I said, we're still finishing up these games from Telstra Mouse's tournament back in September. As I mentioned before, I've just been super busy, haven't gotten around to recording these, but we're here and we're playing Paul. I think his name is Paulgold 20. Actually, I can pull it up right now just to make sure I have his name right. Yeah, it is Paul. It's just Paulgold, not Paulgold 20. I don't know where the 20 came from. But anyways, this is the semifinals, so this match should be pretty intense because whoever wins this one gets to go on to the finals, obviously. I'm bringing the same Zardex team, and he's bringing Sand Bulky Offense. It'll be pretty interesting because my team doesn't deal with Conkeldra the best. I do have Latios. Zard can hit it pretty hard after Fable, but Conkeldra is pretty annoying to everything else on the team, and that's why I say it's a problem. Volcanion is always a problem because if it specs, I can't switch into it, but the biggest problem is going to be Mega Pinsir. Again, I don't have really anything to switch into it. After land Weavile to Revenge Kill it pretty much, and Sand being up with Excadrill, and none of those things are particularly reliable, so like I said, it should be an interesting game. It's going to be pretty intense, and let's just go ahead and get it in. You already know the OST, so I'm going to remove that, and let's get started. So Paul's going to issue us a challenge. I'm going to go ahead and lead off with Latios just because I feel like Latios has a pretty good matchup versus everything, especially with no sand. He leads with Volcanion. This is really good for me. Like I mentioned, Volcanion is a giant threat, so I can just go for a Psyshock, get some damage off. I just went for Psyshock just because I didn't know if he wanted to switch or not. And Psyshock would hit pretty much everything pretty hard, and he decides to stay in and try and trade this Volcanion with Latios. And I'm completely okay with that. He goes for Sludge Bomb trying to get a poison, not gonna happen. And yeah, there goes Volcanion. And like I said, Volcanion could 2 KO pretty much everything on my team, and it'd be a major pain in the butt to deal with. So being able to get rid of it by turn 2, off to a great start. Unfortunately, however, he goes for Draco Meteor, and he baits me into going at a Pinsir, trying to set up a Sword Stance. I guess that was his plan. I'm gonna go to Hippowdon since I figure this is probably my best answer to deal with this. He probably gets the opportunity to set up a Sword Stance, but even though I'm not fully physically defensive, I think I have enough bulk to take a +2 return from Pinsir, and I have Rock Slide, so I should be able to deal with him that way. He actually just goes for a Quick Attack though. Kind of interesting. Like I said, I thought his plan was to try and bait me and set up a Sword Stance. But as you're going to see in a little bit, things start to go a little awry. We're in a pretty good position right now, but things are going to go a little south. So he goes for Sword Stance right here, despite the fact that I could have Rock Slide and just take out his Pinsir right now, which is his win condition. However, I go for Stealth Rocks right here, and this was not a smart play by me. So he goes for SD right there. Again, I don't agree with that play because there is a potential of me having Rock Slide and him just losing his win condition right off the bat, which is why I made the Rocks play. But if you looked at his team, the only 2 things that were affected by Rocks majorly were this Pinsir and Volcanion. Volcanion's already out, and now Pinsir, I mean, it's already in the battlefield, so I should have just gone for Rock Slide, played it safe. If I don't get the Rock Sub, then here's what it is. But now he gets the Sword Stance off, and now I just lose my Hippowdon. So if I want my Excadrill to do anything, I pretty much have to rely on his Sand. And that, again, that's not really what I want. So this Pinsir's threat level just went up a ton. Also, like I said, no Hippowdon. Pretty rough. I could go out to Excadrill to force it out at least, so it's not the end of the game. But we were in a strong position, and now it's not looking too good. I do have Air Balloon, however, so I could try and take on this Hippowdon. My plan is I just don't want him to get up rocks to wear down my Charizard, to wear down my Weavile and stuff. And I just want to see what his coverage move is, if he has anything to touch my Excadrill, and I can just keep going for these Earthquakes. And if I get a crit, then taking out the Hippowdon would obviously be pretty nice. Won't necessarily be necessary because I could use this Hippowdon Sand for my own Excadrill, but I feel like him not having Hippowdon is going to be better than him sending up Sand for me, especially since he has his own Excadrill. So far he hasn't shown me his coverage move, but I'm at least forcing him to burn Slack-Offs, and in the long game that's pretty much what I want. So I'm thinking that at this point he probably doesn't have anything to touch Hippowdon, otherwise he would have revealed it, but we'll see. He goes for the rocks again. Not necessarily. He could just be saving like an Ice Fang or a Rock Slide or something. Rock Slide is really what I want to see, because I want to see if later in the game if my Zard X can come in and set up on this Hippowdon. But right now it's just kind of slow. Let me think of this one period. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. Everything looks a lot slower on Wi-Fi. 33 games is like standard on Showdown. Just like, you know, y'all know what I mean. So he's gonna end up switching out of there, going out to Rotom, realizing that he can't really win this game. I go for Iron Head right here. I don't remember why, but I went for Iron Head, I guess. Oh, I think I know. I think I was trying to get some flinches to try and put him in an EQ range. But he ends up going out to Rotom. Again, doesn't really matter. Couldn't really touch Rotom too much anyways, but I have pretty solid answers to Rotom in my Clefable and my Latios. He does just go for the Volt Switch, predicts me to switch out. Nice play. Doesn't really lose me too much though, since he doesn't have his Volcanion anymore, so he really has Excadrill that can handle my Clefable. And with no Sand up, Excadrill is not that big a threat. Assuming, of course, that he is Sandrush, which we just confirmed since the little mold breaker thing did not pop up. And I don't even know if Excadrill gets another ability, but there's not really a reason to use it. So I could just switch out of there. No Hippowdon, but my own Excadrill is a pretty decent switch in at this point, since I have the Air Balloon and he did not show me an Air Balloon. He does just go for Iron Hand right here, which kind of makes this a bad play on my end, and he gets a crit. I am adamant, and he could potentially be Jolly, so I think both of us are not going to risk it. Yeah, he's going to switch out, and I think I'm probably going to switch to like Charizard or something. He's going to go out to Rotom, and like I said, I think I go Charizard. I could go... no, go in Latios. I go for Rapid Spin. Holy shit, dude. Walk me through the airport right now with these steel walls. Holy. I just go for Rapid Spin. Dude, I'm out here. I'm out here. But that ends up working out pretty well for me, I guess, because I can get rid of rocks, and I'm just going to sack Excadrill right here. I guess that makes sense because I don't have an Air Balloon anymore, so I don't really need it too much, and he's actually going to go for the Volt Switch, predicting me to switch out, so I can get more damage on this Rotom. Doesn't really matter too much, since Zard X is my win condition, and having something like Rotom in here where my Zard X could set up on it, of course assuming that he does not have T-Wave. But me being able to use Rotom to set up Dragonances could actually help me more later in the game, but it doesn't matter too much. Now I save Excadrill, so I'm just wilding out here. Like I said, this game happened nearly 2 months ago, so I'm not necessarily, like, my memory of the game is not accurate. So I'm going to be able to go to Latios, go for the Roost right here, just try to heal up. He does stay in and go for the Volt Switch. Again, doesn't really matter too much because Rotom later in the game could potentially be an asset to me in that I could use it to set up with my Zard X. He's going to Volt Switch out and get another opportunity to go out to his Pinsir, and I think Quick Attack from Pinsir does take me out at this point. We'll see. I think it might actually not take me out. Yeah, I'm a little bit higher than I thought it was. Yes, I'm able to live that, and then I can just go for the Psyshock and take out his Pinsir. So even though we were down, I'm okay with where we are at this point in the game, since his two biggest threats to me, which was his Pinsir and his Volcanion, have both been taken out by Latios. He does still have that Conkeldurr, which is going to be really annoying. Excuse me, and then he still has the Excadrill as well, which, with my Hippowdon down, is going to become a bigger threat. I'm going to decide to sack Latios right here, just because I don't really have anything that I feel confident switching Conkeldurr in. I don't have enough information to switch Clefable in. And if he ends up getting rocks back up with his Hippowdon, which since I have my since I have no Excadrill, I just rather sack it. And if he decides to not go for Mach Punch for whatever reason, I can just go for the Psyshock. But he has a pretty good chance to get rocks back up, so Latios is just going to be dead anyways, and I don't have any way to keep the rocks off the field. So, like I said, now Clefable's going to come in. I just want to see if he has Poison Jab or not. Doesn't look like it because he switched out, and at that health it didn't really matter if he stayed in or switched out, because he could have just got the Poison Jab and taken Moonblast pretty well. I go for the Moonblast, hit Hippowdon. No leftovers, so he's probably like Sand Rock or something, or what's the... Smooth Rock? Yeah, that's it, Smooth Rock. I'm just going to keep going for these Moonblasts. Again, just trying to get some crits to wear down this Hippowdon. I am Calm Mind, so I could potentially set up Calm Mind, but I haven't seen the last move, so don't really know about Whirlwind or not. Like I said, we'll see. I'm going to decide to Calm Mind right here anyways, because if he shows me Whirlwind, then that's just more information. He's probably just going to get rocks up here though, which is going to suck for Charizard, but there's nothing that I can do about it at this point in the game. He does set up rocks, and then this way I can hurt him a little bit more with my +1 Clefable, and then maybe try and get something started. He does still have Excadrill, so It's gonna be pretty rough when I don't have flamethrower or like focus blast or anything. So Excadrill could still force me out. I can't sweep yet, but I could try to do as much damage as possible. He's gonna go for Toxic right here and miss. This doesn't really matter because I'm Magic Guard. I decided to go for another Calm Mind because I'm expecting him to switch, trying to preserve his Hippowdon to get Sand back up at a later time. He does stay in, however, and just goes for another Slack Off. I don't know why he went for Toxic because I wasn't taking sand damage before. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't know what Magic Guard does. I don't really know. So I'm able to get up a second Calm Mind, get up to +2, and now my Moonblasts are going to be doing a whole lot. Does over half to Hippowdon. He is going to go for another Toxic. I miss it again. Again, it does not matter because I have Magic Guard. Now he's going to switch. And he's going to decide to go to Rotom, and this Moonblast after Rocks should be able to take out the Rotom. And again, doesn't really matter too much because that's one less Pokemon that I can use my Zardex to set up on. But at the same time, you know, killing Rotom is always nice because that Pokemon is just really annoying. However, he did save his Hippowdon, and he still has he still has access to set up Sand backup, so this Excadrill is still going to be a problem. I'm going to stay in right here because after 2 rounds of Life Orb and this +2 Moonblast, this Excadrill should either be dead or low enough to where my Weavile's Ice Shard can come in for the revenge kill. However, he just scores a crit. So that whole plan right there of sacrificing Clefable to get the Moonblast off, get Life Orb damage on him, and then just go out to Weavile, that all just goes left field because he gets a crit. So I gotta go to Charizard now, force the issue. We're getting towards the end of the game. I have to go for DD right here. I have to hope he switches and doesn't have Rock Slide or doesn't go for it. He does switch to Hippowdon. I go for the Dragon Dance right here. At this point, I'm thinking that so the Excadrill has to come back in to kill me and take another round of Life Orb. So at this point, I'm going to try and bank on my Weavile getting a crit Ice Shard, because if I get a crit Ice Shard, then I still have a decent chance to win the game. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to go for another Dragon Dance right here. Okay, so that was the first plan, never mind. So if I go for another Dragon Dance and I'm at +2, then I'm faster than Excadrill. He does just go for Earthquake. My hand was kind of forced right there. What I should have done, because I saw Toxic, no, this is where I actually really choked. I should have stayed regular. So I'm making ball thinking that he had Rock Slide or something. And I just should have stayed regular because he was just going to let me set up and I could have just won the game. I actually don't know why I did that. So I'm going to go to Weavile, set up a Swords Dance because now I'm thinking, well, I got to go for crit Ice Shards. I have to get up to +2 to try and take out Conkeldurr because I just choked. I saw the whole moveset. But yeah, I saw the whole moveset, so I had no reason to make that play. It was just really bad. And then I go for SD. If I get crits, then things can work out good, excuse me. But he gets a crit right there. Doesn't really matter too much in the grand scheme of things because I already choked. And I can just go to Excadrill. He's going to sack a Hippowdon, play it safe. But he could just go to Conkeldurr and go for the Mach Punch, and that'll be the game. So it's going to end up being 2-0. We're going to go ahead and watch the Mach Punch play out. Mach Punch comes down, and that's going to be the game. So I end up losing 2-0 to Paul. GG's to him. It's unfortunate how the game ended because I didn't really feel like I got outplayed, but it was more a matter of just me not making smart decisions. Like versus the Pinsir, I shouldn't have let him set up a Swords Dance because there wasn't really a reason for me to go for Rocks there. And then at the end of the game, there was no reason for me to make evolve into a big Charizard because I knew the full moveset. It was just a choke by me in general. And that was really what's frustrating about it, is that it's a tournament game and I didn't feel like I got outplayed. I just choked. It is what it is though. You gotta live with the result. He didn't really do too many things wrong. So, like I said, it's just GG's to him. He ends up going on to the finals. I think he ended up losing in the finals to my Master 05X. Yeah, that's what it says right here. But he was a cool dude anyways. So, like I said, GG's to him, and we can still try and play for 3rd place. So, next game, we're just going to see how that goes. So, like I said, Sun and Moon Hype's coming soon. Hope you all enjoy these last bit of ORAS games. And later.